Talk about Ryan Coogler, who says that there was a rumor that was swirling that states that we'll be getting a sequel to Sinners. And apparently, who was it? Well, I'll get to it in a second on who said that we're gonna be getting a sequel and things. But Ryan Coogler said, I don't know who told y'all that, but I have no interest in making a sequel. Now, I do agree. I do not feel like Sinners needs a sequel. I feel like the movie is good where it is. Regarding, I mean, and I've had full conversations with people about it. Now that I think about it, um, I do think that what the movie could have used a little bit more. I wanted more vampire stuff. I wanted that third act to be a little more, on the violence and things of that nature, but apparently we didn't get any of that. And it was because I guess, Ryan Coogler was more or less interested in, telling the story about the music and everything else. And I love that aspect of it, but I felt like for it being a vampire movie, I want a little more vampire stuff to be up in there regarding the movie. But nevertheless, the movie is what it is. And according to a scooper by the name of MTTSH, he said that Warner Brothers is moving forward with a sequel to Ryan Coogler's Sinners. But in a recent interview, he said that he has no interest in directing a sequel to his hit vampire movie. So now, in a recent interview with Ebony Magazine, Coogler, who directed mega franchise blockbusters like Black Panther and Creed, said he never thought about making a follow-up to his enormously successful vampire thriller. He says, quote, I've been in a space of making franchise films for a bit, so I wanted to get away from that. I was looking forward to working on a film that felt original and personal to me and had an appetite for delivering something to audiences that were original and unique. He also went on to say, I wanted the movie to feel like a full meal, your appetizers, starters, entrees, and desserts. I wanted all of it there. I wanted it to be a holistic and finished thing. That's how I was asked all about it. That was always my intention. But of course, when we talk about Hollywood, um, Hollywood always has different plans when it comes to what your intentions was, because your intentions may have been, oh, I just want to make this movie that felt personal, and I have the beginning, the middle, the end. I want to give y'all everything in the kitchen sink up in there and really give you a fully nuanced story. But you already know when it comes to Hollywood, once something is successful, we need to create a sequel, and it's got to become its own IP and all these other things. And I feel like that's kind of like the direction that they're going to want to go into. Now, the question remains, does this franchise warrant, or does Sinners warrant it being a franchise? Does it need to be a sequel? I've followed a lot of the debates on social media where people were feeling like they think that it does. Oh, I want to know more about the Smokestack twins. Oh, I want to see what happened. Look, at this point, the movie doesn't it come out today on digital? I think, if I'm not mistaken, or is it next week? I don't know. We talked about it before, but I think it was last week we talked about it. So I do think it is out on. Oh wait, today's Monday, so it might be out on digital tomorrow. Usually, digital releases and all the other stuff comes out on a Tuesday. But anyway, so that's neither here nor there. Y'all could just Google Schmoogle to find out when the damn thing come out. But for those of you who have seen it so far, and if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but let's do a little spoiler. So if we're going to talk about like, okay, so where could they possibly go if they were to make a sequel? I know some people like, well, they want to know what happened before they came back home when they were in Chicago and all that other stuff. But I feel like if you get into that, then it becomes less about vampires because there was no introduction of vampires and things of that nature where they were out there. It only transpired when they came home. So I don't think that would work. Or you would have to do like a little, so I don't want to see that, what they were doing in Chicago before they came back home. I don't think that's an interesting enough of a story. Now, the only thing that I could think of that I would love to see in regard, and yeah, I don't want to see what happened with Stack and Mary when they, because they were the two vampires that survived, and how we saw them from like the 1930s, and then during the post-credit scene, or was it a mid-credit? No, it was the mid-credit scene. After mid-credit scene, as we call it, because I'm like, wait, post-credits after the credit. So mid-credit scene, when we saw that Mary and Stack came to see an elder Samuel playing at this club, and how they had their little conversation and stuff. So I'm sure there's some people like, well, let's explore the world of Mary and Stack when all them, the what was it, like 50, 60 years from like well, I guess because it was like my grandparents were born in 30s. So I would say like from that to the 90s, like yeah, 50 years or something or another. If I could do the math off the top of my head, if I done screwed up the math, I apologize. But um if they could find a way to do that story, I don't think that's an interesting story either. The only story that I feel like that would probably be the most interesting that we could see them visit would be um the Choctaw tribe. The only story that I want to see is with the Native Americans when we got to see that sequence where they were chasing Remick and they were looking for him, and he goes and seeks refuge with the racist, the Klansman and his wife, and that whole situation. That to me seems to be the only story that I would love to see them take on. Like we've never really seen a Native American vampire, tribe of hunters. So I feel like that would be something, and especially with those being my people, like I would love to see, the an indigenous group of people slaying, vampire hunters and that sort of thing, or monster hunters. And you can kind of play into that world. The only time that I've really seen, damn it, I wish I remembered the name of it. There was this movie, I believe it's on Shudder, and I cannot remember the name of it right now, but there was a movie where it was just like, this tribe of Native Americans, and it was like a zombie apocalypse, zombie outbreak, and that sort of thing. And I would like to, and how I think they were immune to the the zombie bites and all other stuff. So I would love to see them kind of play into like that was the scene like Native Americans in the whole world of horror and that sort of thing. So I would definitely love to see them take that on in regards to that. So yeah, that's the only story that I can think of that they could go with that. All the other things where everybody's talking about is like, yeah, I want to see the Choctaw tribe of vampire hunters explored. I just feel like that would be a good direction. And I don't know if Ryan Coogler will be interested in wanting to come on and direct it because I know he's got Black Panther 3 that he's got to worry about. I know there have been talks about that movie happening. So that's the only one that I can think of that I would like to actually see, him take that on. So yeah, there you have it. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to what Ryan Coogler had to say about Sinners? While he's saying that he has no plans on making a sequel, the rumors are swirling that they're looking to create they want a sequel to Sinners. But the question remains, is there a story there worth exploring to even, conjure a sequel? I don't really think there is, unless it's like I said, the Choctaw tribe. Like that's the only story that I can think of that they could possibly explore. Even though it was like what less than 5 minutes they was on a screen. Story to me seemed like the most interesting out of the explore out of everything else that we witnessed in that film. So yeah, definitely I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below.